Hello, happy Tuesday,
Yes.
and welcome to your monthly Facebook Live. We've got a surprise for you. As you can tell, Mayor Stovall is not here. We have decided to take over his Facebook Live session and really have a little bit more fun with him. So we've got some fun guests. We're here at the Rockwood Market Hall. If you can't tell, we've got some festivities going on. Rumor has it that there might be a snow globe hidden around here somewhere. So keep your eye out on our Facebook and Instagram so you can find our snow globe. But there also is some stuff going on out that way. See the big guy himself out there, and I believe he's even brought some of his furry reindeer friends.
Sarah, I understand though you can't ride the reindeer. Is that true?
I mean, they frown upon
Okay,
it.
okay, all right.
So
Don't try that at home.
you are the
Right,
police
right.
chief,
Okay,
so I'm not putting it.
Okay.
Who am I to say? But yeah.
But you can come down and see one and pet one. maybe.
You could come down and
I
pet
don't know.
one. Come pet a reindeer. Do you have a favorite reindeer?
Well, Rudolph, of course. I mean, why
Of
not?
course.
Right?
I mean, he's leading the
Yeah,
charge.
they have a red nose.
I
yeah.
think this is Vixen, though. I don't think this is Rudolph. And
What
he's
gives
gotta
it
get-
away?
I'm assuming the red nose. And he's only got a few
True.
days until he's got to go because he's got a big, gig going.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
big
a tour
one,
the whole world.
Now, Gresham, if you haven't noticed, we also have another special guest. So I have the Police Chief Travis Gullberg here with us, but also almost as cool. He's very similar to Santa Claus himself. We have Sergeant Mike Amon with us as well. And so Sergeant Amon and Chief Gullberg, they are going to be talking to us today about a lot of things that you care very deeply about, that we all care very deeply about, but are just top of our minds right now. With the colder weather, the holiday season, there are a lot of safety concerns that come up with our days just aren't quite as light, as long as they used to be. They're a little bit colder out. And with that, we can tend to see some different crimes. So we want to help keep our community safe. And I'm going to let these guys chat about community safety and all the ways that we can keep you safe this holiday season.
Yeah,
So-
and then we're gonna answer any questions too that come up, right, Sarah? So
Yep.
we're open to conversations. I think one of the things we want to start out with overall is maybe talking a little bit about how you might prevent vehicle thefts, right? And why that's important, and what the impact of vehicle thefts have on our community, but also maybe what you can do to prevent vehicle thefts. I know from a personal experience, my aunt who lives in Gresham had her car stolen recently. The Gresham finest recovered it. So I'm very thankful for the work that you guys do, Mike, and your team. But and by the way, just so you know,
Right.
I do think you're as cool as the big guy. It
I
may be even
appreciate
cooler.
that.
So
Sarah
thank
kind
you.
of set the bar high with Santa, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with Santa.
Yeah.
He brings glad tidings and joy wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
No, you.
Oh,
Yeah, too.
All right.
But maybe you can just, share with the community
Yes,
about things you could do to help prevent vehicle thefts.
So one of the things that we see this time of year that's really typical is when we get this cold weather, unfortunately a lot of people, and I understand it because it's so cold outside, but they go out and they'll start their vehicle and then they want to run back in and let it warm up, whether they're getting their cup of coffee or getting their briefcase ready to go to work. And we see a significant spike in vehicle thefts at that time because people walk by, it doesn't take much to look down the street and realize only one vehicle's running on that block. So then they jump in the vehicle and they're gone. And those are really hard for us at first because by the time that person goes outside and realizes the vehicle's gone, and then they call 911, and by the time we get it, that vehicle's usually quite a ways away.
Right.
So one of the big things is if you're gonna do that, they have several options that people can look at. One is a remote start. That's really nice because if somebody gets in the vehicle and they try to put it in gear, the moment they do that, it kills the ignition.
Oh, yeah.
So then they can't drive off with it. So that's really nice. And you can still get your vehicle warm.
Yep.
Another option is some sort of club type device. I've seen people do that. They'll put that on the vehicle and then you can go back in and warm it up. And it's a lot harder for people to get out of the area with your car. So those are really common ones right now.
Speak a little bit more about the club and what does the club attempt to do and a lot of these devices, and there's multiple types of devices. I think there's an ignition type key thing you can get maybe from the dealership of your car.
What we look at, and thank you, Chief, the thing is there's, like you said, there's many different options. We're not brand specific, but the thing is it is less likely for your vehicle to get stolen because what happens is if someone's walking through a parking lot and they see 17 sedans, and they see yours with some sort of lock on the steering wheel or maybe the brake pedal, they're less likely to steal that, and they're going to unfortunately move on to somebody else's vehicle. So that's really big. I use that personally. I think it's a great, those are great devices because they're cheap and it's an easy thing to put on every.
So fairly easy for any average person to install too.
Absolutely.
Like there's not a lot of effort.
I could do it,
Yeah,
right? Like,
Sarah could do
I
it.
could do it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's one key, you keep it on your keychain. And like I said, I've used it to even warm up the car. You can put that on, and then what it does, the steering wheel version doesn't allow people to do a full rotation of the steering wheel.
Okay.
It blocks, it'll hit the windshield or it'll hit their lap or whatever. So it makes it a lot harder for them to leave with your vehicle.
What a great idea, right, Sarah? I mean, what you can do, and we often get asked this question, what can I do to help around community safety, public safety? And when you take steps like this as an individual, and here we got a police sergeant saying, I use it, right? How cool is that? Like I bought one, I use it, right? Yeah, what a great idea. Go ahead.
Good news about some clubs. Do you want to share?
Yeah, it's perfect segue to this. This coming weekend, we actually are going to have clubs available to hand out. And so we're excited. What we want to do is invite the community down between 1 and 3 on Saturday at the Gresham Fred Meyer on Burnside, and come in and connect with us. We'll have some police available there, maybe some stickers to hand out. But more importantly, we'll be talking about the club, have some clubs to hand out and kind of show the community what you can do to help prevent car thefts. I mean, I'm really excited. And by the way, earlier in the day, we're doing Shop with a Cop too. So a couple of great community events where we're supporting the community, but also preventing crime. Isn't that the most important thing?
What can we do as a community together, right?
That is, and crime prevention is so important because it's best for everyone. It's best for we don't have victims, we've stopped the crime before it happened, and it's better for the police department because it's less strain on us. Yeah. So the more we can do these, even if it's a little win here or there, we take those because those are important. We want our citizens to feel safe and not become the victim of a crime, whatever that crime may be.
And I think the other piece to this, is also deterring the behavior in the first place. Like maybe we encourage people, what, I was thinking about it because I'm in need, I'm cold, I want to get out of the weather, but you know what, I shouldn't be doing this, and I shouldn't be victimizing my own community members. So what a great message, and then you're protecting it. You're showing that you're taking care of your own car in this case.
Right.
So what are other things that we see happen around this time of year?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's another good question. So one of the big things we see is a lot of vehicle break-ins this time of year because unfortunately people think, well, I'm just going to run into the store for 5 minutes. I put all of my gifts in the back. They're not covered. That's really, really common. And everybody gets in that mindset of, well, it's just for a few minutes. Right. The unfortunate part is it takes probably 5 seconds to break into a vehicle, clean the stuff out, and they're down the street before the victim even knows what hit. Yeah. So I would say making sure not to leave anything in your vehicle. The other big one we see is purses and wallets. We see a lot of those. Unfortunately, people leave a lot of firearms in their vehicles.
That one fascinates me.
Yeah, that's a strange one. I don't really understand that because we see so much theft and we don't want them to lose any of that stuff, but certainly not a firearm. So if you secure all those things, and the neat thing too is the market these days, the price on a lot of those things has come way down compared to 15, 20 years ago. So you can buy a safe for your vehicle. You can get different containers to put things in to hide them. Yeah. So there's options.
Like locking it up in your trunk.
Locking it up in your trunk is huge. But yeah, the biggest thing is to take those little tiny steps to make sure you're less likely to be the victim of a crime. Yeah. And the big one is, again, not leaving valuables in the vehicle.
Yeah, we often say, take it with you. If you can take it with you, take it with you. And then it's on your person, especially your phones, your identification, your wallet, that kind of, and especially a firearm. We wouldn't want to leave a firearm unattended. We want proper storage and handling of all firearms. So,
May Chief add into that too. One of the other things that really helps is with things like that, maybe your firearm or Christmas gifts. If you get a really expensive camera, it sounds silly, but it's really important to write down that serial number because if it does become stolen, a lot of times it's so much easier for us to get that back to the victim. Otherwise, we find a really expensive camera and we know it's stolen, but we can't connect that to the owner.
And with new technologies, correct me if I'm wrong, you could take a photo of it with your phone and keep it tracked of it that way.
The huge thing to do now is just take a photo of it. It's really easy to be able to zoom in later and get that. And then when the officer takes your report, you can give them that serial number. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but if it did, it makes it easier.
Boy, he's full of great ideas, isn't he? I'm like super excited every time. Every time. I'm done. Yes, you're hired. Hey, I did have, another area that I think is of concern, unless you have any questions, Sarah, is, having a plan for your package deliveries. I know that's an issue this time of year, all throughout the year, but really this time when you know you're getting a lot of packages, especially from out of town family. It's presents, gifts.
I'm a big fan of online shopping.
Right, especially nowadays. So.
So that is really common, and we're seeing two different things. We're seeing a lot of people, and this happens every year, but we see a lot of unfortunate people that are up to no good, and what they're doing is they're following around those delivery vans. They're that brazen, and they just follow them around, and the moment the delivery van drops things off, they grab the package and they go. So the other one is, if we'd have gone back again a decade and said, hey, we're going to come up with this idea where we ship really expensive stuff to our house and leave it on our front porch, no one would have ever believed that. They would have said, no one's going to do that. But yet we all do. So the suggestion I have is if it's anything that's really important to you and or really expensive, is a lot of these locations like the grocery stores or the convenience stores, they have those Amazon shipping containers, and you can ship there. And I know that sometimes that's an inconvenience, but it's less of an inconvenience than showing up and realizing the gift you wanted for your kids is now stolen. So I would really push for that. The other thing is I want all of our residents to really have a good connection with their neighbors. And I think that's really important. If you have a neighbor, go out and meet them and talk to them. And then that's something a lot of neighbors will do is they'll say, hey, I'm expecting a delivery from 1 to 2. I'm not going to be there because I got to be at work. Can you pick that up for me? And that's huge because it's you're so much less likely to get victimized if your packages are secured.
I heard about this. Neighborhoods actually having some kind of text group or connectivity group on social media, and they actually can watch out for each other's houses when people are away on vacation maybe or taking a trip, or in this case having a plan for package delivery of, hey, if you collect it because I'm going to be gone, I'll collect yours, we'll get it from each other, and we're looking out for each other. Isn't that what we want the community to do? I mean, right?
That's the hope, right?
Right.
We want that. And that is such a good thing to do on all levels because we want the community to unite. They need to know each other. They need to know, hey, I don't recognize that vehicle in a neighbor's driveway. What are they doing there? That's the kind of thing that we want from the citizens because it makes them less likely to be a victim.
Well, it just sounds like there's so much fun going on behind us. I know it's kind of loud in here today. We apologize, but you know what? The kids are here to see the reindeer. You got a Christmas tree behind us and a great location, Santa.
Snow globe yet. We've even got Autumn Coffee Roasting Company, I think. Autumn Coffee Roasting Company, and they're handing out some free warm beverages. There's a lot of fun going on, but I don't want to miss if there's any other, we haven't gotten any questions so far. So Gresham, if you have any questions, we've got 2 experts here that can put all of your safety concerns at ease. So ask away.
Or we can at least try. We'd like to say we try, right?
One other thing that I wanted to add, sir, because this comes up a lot. One of the things that I always recommend to everybody is when you buy online, don't use your debit card. That's the worst thing you can do. That's my take. If you have a credit card and you're good with credit cards, is use the credit card because those are often more insured, so to speak, than your debit card. If somebody gets your debit card at a bad website, then they clean out your bank account. If you have your credit card, they're less likely to do that. So I think that's really important because we see a lot of that too, is people leave receipts out, they're charging like crazy, they're going online, and it's really easy for people to steal those credit card numbers or debit card numbers.
What about when you're just like out and about shopping and have like cash on you?
I think cash is good, but one thing that you should always do, and it's not specific to this time of year, but what we want people to do is be aware of your surroundings. The really interesting thing is most of us know without having any kind of formal education in the safety realm, you can tell when something's going on. You know something's not right. Listen to that internal voice. If you've had somebody follow you for many blocks and it just doesn't seem right, there's probably something there. So, and the same thing with if you have an uneasy feeling about a website you're going to go to, there's probably a reason for that.
Right.
You know what we talked about earlier is when you're excited about the season and you're excited about your family, it's easy to get distracted. You got a lot on your plate, maybe you're all busy right now in this time of year. So I think these tips are so important because just take a second, take a moment to think about your surroundings, think about how you might prevent yourself from being victimized. And I think another message you probably should share is if you see something, you should say something or report something.
Thank you, Chief. I'm glad you said that. We have talked to so many citizens who actually witnessed their neighbor's house getting broken into or their car stolen, and they don't call. And they don't call because they feel bad to bother us. We don't want that. We want those calls to come in. The other thing is, again, it's about contacting that neighbor and realizing, you know what, I would rather you call us and be wrong and us show up and help the neighbor than to find out that you should have called and you didn't and it was a good burglary. So I would rather err on the side of caution, call us. We can go out there and figure that out. That happens to us all the time, and we're used to it.
What a great message. And I think part of that other message, part of that is the more information we have, the better chance we have of solving the crime or getting your property back. Those kind of things, because it helps, right?
It does,
I think there's a lot of that sentiment out there, or misperception that I shouldn't bother them. I don't want to call. It's
Absolutely,
not that important. They're dealing with bigger, more important things. But even like vehicle theft, all these things, it helps when it's reported, right?
We have made so many great cases by just citizens calling in. We didn't know any of this events had gone on. Some neighbor thought, you know what, I should probably call on this. And it turns out the vehicle was stolen. They were doing a burglary, you name it. So we want people to call. It's always better to call.
And there's so many ways to have information, like Ring doorbell cameras, your cell phone, whatever information you have, what you saw and witnessed, heard, sound, all that stuff, right? So I think it's important that to know, the community to know that we want that information. You're not bothering us, and your story is important, and what's happening to you is very important to us, and community safety is one of our top priorities, right, for the entire city of Gresham. We talk about that all the time, about what we're doing together so that everybody's safe and everybody has a chance to thrive, right? And we don't want people to be victimized, especially during this time of year when there's so much joy. I mean, we got reindeers, right? We got reindeers and stuff, right? And what a great place too, by the way. The market is just, this area has taken off. This market is great. There's food options here. So we would also encourage you to come down here and eat local. Eat local here.
I've eaten a number of times for lunch. It's really close to City Hall, so I pop down here if I want some warm soup or a good sandwich.
I think you said you were buying lunch for us today too, is what I heard. I remember this.
How did I get on the hook?
I was already looking at what you were going to buy today.
Steps in one day.
Already get a free meal out.
Everybody likes him, and he gets free lunch.
To be fair.
Right.
He stole the show. So,
Yes.
All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so I think it's time that we get to go outside and play with some reindeer. And
love it. Yes.
Get some
see
coffee,
Santa.
See Santa. And enjoy all the festivities.
And maybe I'll go look for the snow globe.
Don't give it away.
Can I? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Go stick with the reindeer and the Santa.
If it was the World Cup trophy.
Okay,
Yes.
So, I mean, come on.
Yes.
The goalie in you has to be cheering for the Moroccan goalie.
I am. He was phenomenal.
He is a superhero at this point.
Yes. What a great tournament so far.
Yes,
though, right?
great tournament. I'm really enjoying it. My bracket is completely dead at this point because all of the upsets.
It happens.
Well, and Snow Globe is kind of like the FIFA for this season, right? So it's kind of similar.
Same. Yeah. So come on down, find the snow globe, see some reindeer. Have some good food, and we wish you a very merry and safe holiday season, Gresham. Until we see you next time.
Merry Christmas.
You.
Bye all.
Bye.